Hello and welcome to a P3D video where we're looking at the propair SF25 Falke, which is a motor glider commonly used amongst um, glider clubs which have the motor gliders, and yeah, it's just a very commonly used aircraft. And we are currently located in Sweden, in Dala Airport, or Echo Sierra Sierra Delta, in the newly released Orbex Dala Airport. So yeah, as I mentioned, we're looking at the SF25 Falke from propair, and I've actually had a hard time flying this thing because I always like overheat, I guess, the engine. So hopefully I won't do it today, but we'll see. But as you can see, the exterior looks really good. They have done a fantastic job to model the exterior. I mean, just look at if you look like inside the engine, looks really good. And I love the wing that is like, I don't know if you can call it bumps, but like on the wing, you see what I mean? Like the base of the wing or whatever, you see that through. So that's really cool. Yeah, they have done a excellent job, I have to say. But yeah, oops, shit. So let's jump into the cockpit and just see what this bad boy can give us today. So the first thing I realized when I entered the cockpit for the first time in the SF25 is that if you go outside of the canopy, you see how the panel changes, which I feel is quite weird because I mean it shouldn't do that. I mean, it's glass. You should see through. Like if you look through the window, that's how you should see it, and not like this. But oh well. Sorry. Let's start with setting the parking brake, which you do by extending the speed brake to its fully extended position, and then you just lock it there with that switch there. Position light can come on, and we can put the main on there. And as it's quite cold outside, I reckon we should use some choke to start this thing today. So magneto can come on, and we can see that the fuel is opened. So we can crack the throttle, choke is out, and let's, there we go. Here's also one thing I've realized, this now just disappeared, but oh shit, it didn't even start. The shadow problem, you can see it somewhere there. You see how it's really weird, and it just comes and goes, so I don't know what it is actually. Now it looks like the engine is started. We'll idle it at around 1500 RPM just to warm it up a bit. And whilst we're waiting for the engine to warm up, we can check that the oil pressure has risen, and we also need to wait for the oil temperature to rise above 50 degrees. So as you see the panel, it looks really good what they have modeled. I kind of like in the SF25, is it the C version or the E version? E version actually, because you get 2 or 3 different variants of the SF25 with this package. You get the SF25 A, C, and E, I think it is. So it's in the now I have to think. I think it's in the E variant. In that you have the panel looks really like old and used. I mean, this looks quite kind of used if you look around the circuit breakers or the switches and up here, etc. But the other one is like extremely used, and I kind of like that. It's a nice feature. Sorry, and yeah, as you've seen here, I mean, this is really good model, and the mat here, and like that they have done the screws in 3D is it's just insane. So yeah, I really like how they modeled the aircraft, and as you see, the seats also look used, and yeah, I don't know, I just like it. But one thing I've realized is that the transponder doesn't really work. I mean, you can change the transponder code, which in Sweden VFR is 7000, so we'll leave it like this. But you can't change it to standby on altitude and test. But I mean, I guess if you the like only time you really need it is if you fly on like VATSIM or any online network, and I mean that there you probably can use for example vPilot to manually change to TARA. But yeah, so as you've seen here, the temperature is now rised, so that's really good, which indicates that we can start the engine. We'll idle it a bit, so there we go. We can actually close the window because it's quite cold outside. And also one thing that I also realized is that, I mean, the sound of the propeller or the engine, it's quite good actually. I wouldn't say it's the best I've heard, but it's not the worst either. But one thing I realized is that the sound for the switches, etc., doesn't work at all. Like if I'm just quiet now and just press this, you aren't going to hear anything. So nothing, which kind of sucks because I don't know, it doesn't feel right to not hear anything when you press a button or switch a switch, etc. But oh well. So what we can do before we start to taxi is just check the flight controls, that they are free, which they are, very good, and we can check that the trim is in neutral, which it is, and the canopy is closed and locked. And what else can we check? We'll leave the choke out actually because we need it for departure, so there's that. And here if we look, actually that view won't work. Do I have any view that will work? I don't think so. Let's see actually if we have if we go to this view, we are am I blind? We should be around here. Or is it just me that is confused as hell where we are? Or aren't we? Yeah, we are down there. What we will do, we will taxi out here to runway 14 and depart from there. So as it's not that long taxi, we will use the choke on just because we'll need it. So let's release the brakes by take that switch off, so the speed brakes or the spoilers go down, and we will start to throttle. And as it has quite a wingspan, we will just check that we don't hit anything on our way out. Oh, come on, turn. It's not the best on turning, but it works. Let's see. And one thing that I have to remind you of, because I've done the mistake quite a lot. I think we're going to need to use a bit of the grass, but that's no worse. One thing I realized is that here on here you have as I mentioned, the Celsius or the temperature for the oil, you have to be careful with that, because if that overrides 150, your engine will most likely run out and just die, which have happened to me, and then I needed to make an emergency landing on a field. So yeah, but I haven't flown this aircraft actually as much as I would like to do, but as I have quite much to do in school, but it's it I really wanna uh, start to fly it more often, because it's really nice. I do like general aviation a lot, and as I hopefully will start to take my certification for motor glider, I will most likely fly the SF25. So as I mentioned, a quite commonly used aircraft. So there's why. So landing lights can go on as we are entering the runway. You don't need to use that much of a throttle, I guess. So the temperature of the oil have raised to around 120 now. But you have to be careful, because as I mentioned, it has a quite a huge wingspan. I do not know the figures in my head, but as it is used as a glider, it has big wings, so you just have to be careful with where you're going, and just look out so you don't hit anything, because I mean, even if it doesn't happen anything here in the sim, in real life, that would be quite embarrassing. But oh well, let's advance this throttle to max. Should be around 2600 RPM. It is 2600, 2700. Just go to this view so I can see the center line until the tail raises. There were airspeed alive. RPM looks good. The temperature looks good. 50 knots. Get to the normal view. Use some right, and we're up in the air. So what propair do want you as a operator of this aircraft to do is, actually we have quite a hard side wind, but or crosswind, but what they want you to do is to remain on runway heading to around 200 or 300 AGL, or feet above the ground of the airport, in case you lose the engine. But, yeah, so let's reduce the throttle to around, climb up RPM, which is around 2400 RPM, so around there. Landing lights can go off as we are. It's a clear day today. The oil temperature looks good, so let's just climb out, and we can actually use the throttle, keep it at 2400 so we don't overheat the engine. And if we see that the temperature rises even more, then we'll probably go with the choke again, because I think, I don't know, it doesn't like, it might be that it wants you to use choke as long as you're using the engine, but I don't know, I'm not sure about that actually. As you can see, the aircraft is like, we're almost stalling, so let's keep the RPM going, like throttle a bit more, because I still don't want to max it out, as we probably lose the engine though. But Actually, let's bring the choke. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't generate as much lift as I want. If you can say it like that. Sorry, my bad. Now it's going to mute the audio for a bit. Sorry. Just a bit more. There we go. But I don't know. I don't just. I don't know. I don't get the climb rate as I want to. But and here's actually one thing that I also notice is that you don't see a pilot in here, which kind of sucks because I really enjoy when you see a pilot. Like the aircraft feels a bit more realistic, if you can say it like that. But I'm not sure actually if it's just that the real aircraft does have quite a bad climb rate, or if I'm doing something wrong, or because as you can see we are climbing, but it's not with much. It's like between 500 and sometimes 100 feet per minute or meters per second even. So it just doesn't feel right at all. I really feel like we are just approaching stall, which are because I think the stall speed is at 60 kilometers per hour. So the oil temperature is quite high, but it's not too. But let's actually open the cabin air, which you can see here. So it's taking in air from the aero side and just bringing it in. Quite cool actually. Holy shit, it's freaking not climbing. I have no clue what's going on. This is like really weird. Like extremely weird. I still don't want to overheat the... I feel like we're probably going to overheat the engine, which kind of sucks because we're at freaking low altitude. No, but I hope you understand what I mean with that it feels like you are stalling. I don't know. Oh well, but we are climbing, so I guess that's good, at least. But it's not going fast at all. Actually, is that the airport? Oh shit. Yes. Thought I saw something. Yeah, there we have the runway. So yeah, which is good if the engine just dies. We are able to probably glide. Um, no, but what can I else say? I, even if I'm having, as you can see, a hard time flying this aircraft, it's probably just because I'm a bad pilot. and I probably need to read a bit more about this aircraft in the manual, etc. But I actually enjoy flying this. I don't know, it's something new, but I would say it like this. I should have our. No, I thought we had a window up. We can close the cabin now, I think, because. No, but I would say it like this. I wouldn't recommend this aircraft if you don't like general aviation, etc. If you're only in for like the 777 and the 73, I maybe wouldn't recommend this for you. And if you feel like you want to get into general aviation in flight sim or in P3D and want to have a good aircraft, I would probably go for the A2A. But if you flown a bit general aviation and maybe you want to have some new aircraft in your fleet, then I might actually recommend this, because it's a nice little airplane to have in your hangar. And I mean, the glider, I don't know if I can say community, but the glider fleet isn't the greatest in P3D. I mean, we don't have that much of gliders actually, so it's just fun to have something new. And I mean, this, if you don't know it already, a glider pack or a glider motor glider is like a glider aircraft but with an engine, so you can't just turn off the engine, which we'll do when we reach a bit more altitude, and then you can glide, which is quite cool actually. Okay. I don't wanna leave the airport surrounding too much, is if we get the engine damage or engine failure. What we can do is turn towards Borlänge city, which you can see here. So here you have actually, oops, sorry. To our right, we have quite a famous river called Dalälven, which is quite a long river actually. Oh, I really like the surrounding actually. It might be just because I'm Swede, but I really like the surrounding here. So, which I don't know, it's nice to fly around here, and but I will also like the Alaska is actually really cool as well, like extremely cool. Um, but yeah. So what I'm thinking is we're climbing, and then we're going to close the or shut down the engine for a bit, glide around, and then we'll probably go back and land. Let's go towards this. Should we go towards the mountain, or should we just actually let's just continue? Sorry, continue as we are now. I'm thinking at about we might be able to shut the glider down, or the engine down, sorry, at around 3,000 feet for a bit. So we have around 700 feet to go, so a few minutes. And yeah, I'm actually going to leave this. If you haven't already noticed it, I will leave this as a raw with video. So I mean, this part of the video might be quite boring as we're just climbing, but so just skip it if you don't want to. But yeah, so it's a really nice aircraft to have actually, if you do like, as I said, general aviation. And I mean, it's not the fastest aircraft, but it's more like a touring, if I can say it like that. It's not like a aircraft to maybe get from A to B. Uh, like if I wanted to go from New York to Philadelphia, for example, I wouldn't take the SF25 maybe, but it's nice aircraft to just fly around, maybe fly around your hometown. And actually, SF25 is certified for some aerobatics, I believe, but not like the glider planes, the real glider planes, if I can say it like that. They can do quite much, but the SF25 can't do just as much as the normal gliders, but you can still do quite a lot, I believe. But I won't try anything because I don't wanna damage the aircraft now. So around 400 feet to go, and we're just entering the outside of their city now. And to our right we actually have the lake called Run. And what you see here is actually the city of Falun, and quite big actually. I mean, it's not, but to be Swedish um, city, which is not like Stockholm or Gothenburg, it's quite big actually. Um, yeah, let's go. Here we have Dala Airport. So still just in the surrounding of their airport, but oh well. Let's see. So speed looks good. RPM is a bit high, but no problem. Actually, it isn't because we should be around 2,400 RPM, so no problem there. We're climbing with, I wouldn't say it's a steady climb, but I mean we're climbing, approaching 3,000, and the temperature is good, so looking good so far, which is quite good. I know, I haven't had the best flights yet. I mean, this is like the best flight I've ever had. So, and we're just around 3,000 feet now, so let's just turn a bit right so we are on a left downwind for the runway, like that. And we'll reduce the RPM, we will level off here. And you don't wanna just shut off the engine immediately. You want to like almost idle or almost idle the engine for a bit, just so the RPM can drop, and then you can shut it out. So I'll just leave it here for like a few secs, and then we can shut down the aircraft or the engine. you do want though is to just cycle it so the propellers are horizontally so that it doesn't interrupt it. Yeah, that's good enough. Good enough. So we're now a glider. Really cool. I really love the soaring here. It's really cool. And also about that, one thing I realized which is kind of sucks too is that when you open the window, don't hear any difference in the sound, which is kind of sad. I mean, it's a minor detail, but the sounds do give you quite some immersion. So I don't know. I don't like it, but we can do some steep turns actually. Steep turns, but we can turn at least. Do some S turn. Just checking the the river down here. Oh shit, did I just for some reason hit this thing? Oh no. No, what is it doing? Why is it trying to restart itself? What are you doing? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Oh, now the propeller's a bit in the way. Oh shit. Come on. Oh, for God's sake. Just stay. There we go. No, but why is it... What is it doing? Oh, okay, I don't care about the propeller anymore. I don't want to bother with it. Just soaring here, making a 360. Let's try to not stall the aircraft. Picking up quite a lot of speed now as we're in quite a heavy descent, so pull up on the nose, and what we will do is... No. Ah, come on. Why does it want to start by itself? There we go. Okay, so let's start the engine now. So I haven't done this actually, so let's... No. Let's put full throttle. Come on. I mean, the aircraft is... You are able to fly or to land the aircraft as a glider, so that's no problem. There we go. There we go. Reduce the throttle once again. There we go. And we are on a base, as you can see, so... And what you will see is that you kind of don't want to use like the pitch, oh shit, to um, to um, start your descent. You kind of want to use more of the spoilers or the speed brakes to get some more drag and thereby descending. So using fully extended speed brakes as of now, just to get it diving, but you know, descending. hopefully we do not have to turn right and extend with a downwind. Hopefully we are able to descend it quite fast, but we'll see. I mean, it's a long runway, so we don't have to worry about putting it down just at the start or at the touchdown zone of the runway, so that's no worries actually. Here we go. Coming in on a very short final over the horses, which you can see here. Quite a nice detail actually that Orbix made. So what you want to do is, if I remember correctly, you want to get the wheel down. The approach speed is around 90 knots, and then you want to get the back wheel setting it at the ground first, and then the main wheel will come by itself almost. So coming in here. Floating it, but no worries as we have a long runway. There we have the back wheels and the front wheel. And just rolling it out. Quite a hard. What's the winds actually? In knots, 15 knots. Is it gusting or? Oh shit! I didn't. I had to look on that. So, as we're going to the general aviation parking or this glider club, so we need to backtrack a bit, but no worries. It's no gusting, but it's winds from the left by 15 knots, so that's why. So let's just taxi in. No, but as you can see, I mean, it's if the runway is wide, or it's not like, but it's to not be as big airport. It's quite big runway, and I mean, oh shit! Did I go so fast that I took off? I did actually. Oh shit! Didn't realize that. Little rip. Oh well. Yeah. There you have a why you should be careful when you have a big wingspan. Like getting quite a lot of upward lift by not that much speed, so have to be careful with that one. But we're just rolling out all the way down, and we're going down there. But one thing, if I don't wanna be that guy who points out every little tiny detail, but I don't know, it's like the if you look at the gauges, they're quite black. I would guess that they have done it like in Photoshop or something, that they have just put a black background and they then made the values, etc. I mean, it feels, it might be just being, but it feels like too black. It should have been like maybe a bit, just a tiny bit. Actually, let's see where the freaking god we are going. I don't know if we're going. No, we're going straight here. No, but I feel like it's too black. I kind of want it to be like maybe a bit brighter, well, a bit to the white, and I mean maybe a bit more. I don't know. It feels too I don't know how to describe it. I hope you understand. Let's go a bit to the right so we don't hit those signs. I hope you understand kind of what I mean, but I don't know. The background feels a bit too dark for some reason. If you look like compared to the panel, it looks, I don't know. But oh well. Going a bit too fast maybe. But oh well. We will just take this apron to our right here. Let's say we need to fuel it a bit. So we have a fuel tank here, so let's see. That side is good, that side is good. Let's turn. Actually, turn almost now to the left so we don't hit that building, which will come to our right. Come on, aircraft, turn. Let's say that this is good. So, setting the parking brake, the position light and the main switch can go off, and shutting the engine down and open the canopy. There we go. There's that. And actually, now we can release the parking brake as the engine is shut down. No, but there we have it, the SF25. So to summarize everything, I wouldn't recommend this aircraft if you are more into like commercial aircraft and so on. And even if you want to go and get a general aviation aircraft, I would recommend this. Maybe I would probably more recommend like A2A, because that's like the best general aviation aircrafts you can find on the market at the moment. Maybe, I mean, if you want to start, or if you want to have like a glider aircraft or a motor glider aircraft, I would highly recommend this. And the same if you have used like general aviation and you maybe want to have something new, but you don't want to like have a commercial aircraft, then I would also recommend this, because I mean it's great modeled, it flies good. I mean it's a few things like minor things like the sound and maybe that you don't see a pilot in the aircraft, etc. So, but overall it's a great aircraft I feel. Um, so I would, I mean I do fly. I wouldn't say I fly a lot of general aviation, but I fly actually. And I mean, I would give this like maybe 7 out of 10 or something. I mean, it's really good, but you can always do some things better. But I do like propair. I like the company. I've been in contact with the CEO of the company, and I don't know. I really like him and the company in general. So big thumbs up for that. um, but yeah, I guess that's all. So thanks for listening and looking, and take care and safe flights. See ya.